task of summarizing all of that into a few big ideas. I did have some time to think about it, though, from between tables. If you go back to this discussion guide on the table, it has the 4 steps: identifying the problem. I think the next is strategies. I wrote it, I can't remember what it says, but most groups in most communities are really good at identifying the problem. In fact, we'll spend really a lot of time identifying the problem and not move on to solutions. But I think what's happening here is that it's going to be very hard to move on, as someone said, without more work on identifying the problem. I think from the detail that was expressed around trust, around transparency, around being able to trust the data collection, both the data collection and the messengers of the data as well. There are 2 sort of outstanding identifying the problem sub-questions. One is, how did we get here? And what I've heard tonight is that people still aren't all on the same page about that. And secondly, what does that mean for schools and students? And we heard some tables really drill down on what that means in terms of safety, in terms of building maintenance, in terms of student learning and support for students. So that I would advise, I guess, if I was a consultant in this role, that there's actually some more work to do there before you can move forward. And I think you know that, so I'm just saying the obvious. I would take all of the detail that's been identified there and put it in, I think, roughly 3 main categories: governance, management, and communication. So those are the 3 big categories. The issues around both structure and skill sets are about governance. Accountability to voters and to parents is also, and to stakeholders in the education, is a governance issue. There's a breakdown in trust in the community around decisions made by management, but they speak back to governance issues, because really that is the job of your school board, is the governance piece. And there's a big difference there, and I think that really resonated for me at several tables when people talked about their concern that there needed to be more skills to understand the difference between really what's governance and what's management. That's breaking down, obviously. That's what's leading to the trust. That's the outcome. The outcome is lack of trust. The outcome is people sitting at tables and having and micromanaging, having a lot of concerns about how this bigger picture is going to play out at a school level. So I also heard a couple of other interesting things, and of course there's the role for partner groups, both here, but I sort of boiled that down to 3 different categories. There's a role, of course, for partners to come together to support good decision making in the district, and I think that's possible given you're showing out here tonight. Obviously this is a good sign. There's a need for neutral professional expertise and the community to have faith in that neutral expertise. I also heard that there's a role for people from outside the district in terms of advocacy to support the community, because as I started my comments off earlier in the evening by saying the world, the province is watching. And there are people out there who will support the community actually to move forward with an eye to protecting public education and student learning. So those were the big categories I identified. Does anyone have anything else they might like to add to that? I mean, really these are, to be honest, those are the 3 big pieces of what a school district does: governance, management, and communications. And by management, I'm including financial management, right? That's an aspect of management. So I think this community really has its work cut out for it, but the fact that you all showed up tonight to do this work together, not all necessarily on the same page politically, not on the same page in terms of how you come to schools as stakeholders. I think this is a wonderful start, and people, that's another thing that was expressed, of course, through all the groups, is how much they valued this opportunity to come together and work, and we need in this community more opportunities to do that. So, any other comments? Anything I've completely missed? No? Okay, well, I will close the evening then by turning the mic over to Susan, and thanking you very much for coming out tonight.
thank you so much, Helesia, for coming here from Vancouver and stepping in to deal with all of our local problems here. This is what we had in mind when we talked about a dialogue. The idea of consultation to us is not putting one group in a room with senior management for an hour one day and another group in that same room with senior management for an hour another day. We all needed to be here in this room, and this is just an amazing representation from all of the partner groups. It's wonderful. Thank you very much, Carolyn, for coming out from the New Weston District Labour Council. And we would very much like to thank both of our trustees, Wendy Johnson and Rob McFarlane, who've come out to join us this evening. And also, of course, Helesia, and where did Mr. Austin end up? Thank you so much for coming so far and for really having a genuine dialogue with us and for meeting with us in Victoria. That was a wonderful day, just the opportunity on Tuesday for us to get together. We learned so much just on our trip across on the ferry by having that opportunity to sit as the partner groups. We learned a lot about issues that are affecting each other, and that is invaluable. We really need to have that opportunity, and we really don't feel that our senior management encourages that at all. We feel that there is actually almost the divide and conquer mentality at our school board. So we really do have to take the time to reach out and make these kinds of opportunities to get together and dialogue. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I know how busy all of you are, and we will definitely be doing this again. We'll be taking all of this information from this evening and collating it and making this available.